I love the hustle, man.
Yo, what's good? I go by the name of Stealth. We got Doughboy Bush over here to my left on the screen. So, you know, man, we back with another video. Appreciate you guys tapping in with that last one, talking about, you know, the Kings and the roster moves and whatnot. Just kind of talking about what we think the Kings need to do. We're going to talk a little bit more about that today as well. But first, we're going to get to these NBA Finals. Just real quick, if you have not subscribed to the channel, we're trying to reach 1,000 subs. So if you have not subscribed to the channel, please do so. Please like the video, comment, drop your comments, let us know what you think about any of the topics that we talk about today. And we're going to get straight to it, man. Doughboy, what's good with you, brother?
Man, I'm doing good, man. Happy Friday, bro.
Man, happy Friday. Nah, definitely. We had game one of the NBA Finals. You know what I mean? So I'm glad basketball's back, you know, after a week. And it's good. It's
a long week.
You know, it's crazy. It's going to be over just as soon because the finals ain't going to take too long. I mean, even if it does go game 7, it's not going to take too long. But game one, Dallas Mavericks and the Boston Celtics. We just had game one last night, and couple surprising things that happened in game one. Some things that I didn't expect personally. But we gonna get straight to it, man. So Boston, of course, everybody knows Boston won the game 107-89. The Mavericks made a push, I want to say like mid third quarter, like they got it down to like 9 points. And I went to go use I went to go take my dog out to go use the bathroom. When I came back, it was already a 20-point lead again. I was like, whoa. I was like, man, that was crazy. So yeah, Celtics pretty much dominated game one. You know, we could talk about some of the stats and stuff later, if you would like. But yeah, some of the stuff, some of the stuff is alarming. I will just start out by saying that the Mavericks only had 9 total assists. Normally Luka has that on his own. I think he averages 9 assists. So that was kind of surprising. But just Doughboy, what were some of your takeaways on game one? What did you see from each team? What did you like? What did you not like from each team? Just your overall thoughts.
Well, first and foremost, you know, when I started to watch the game originally, I see that it was an up and down, fast pace. I thought it was going to be close for the first maybe quarter and a half. It looked like, you know, the Dallas Mavericks were going to be able to go and keep up with the pace of the Boston Celtics from what I've seen. But man, as the game went on, man, you know, the uglier and uglier it got. You know, like you said though, you know, you made a big comment by saying that, you know, Luka only had 3 assists, I want to say, and then Kyrie only had Luka had 1, Kyrie had 2, and the whole team as a whole only had 9 assists.
Yeah,
that's how it is, man.
Luka,
you know what I'm saying? At all.
Luka had 1 assist and Kyrie had 2.
1 assist.
So,
and that's very, very abnormal for them now, or you know, not normal for them to go ahead and do that, something like that per se. You know, but then also too, as well, what stood out to me though, to be honest, was that they could not hit from the outside 3 ball whatsoever. They went 7 for 27 at 25%. If you're going to go ahead and live by the 3, you're going to die by the 3, this is what's going to actually happen. You're going to lose games without making the shots. You got to make these shots, man. You know what I mean? And they did not do that whatsoever.
7 for 27 is crazy.
7 for 27 as a whole, yes.
So who made those shots?
25%.
So Jones Jr., he went 1 for 2. Kyrie Irving went 0 for 5. Luka made 4. 0 for 5, yeah. Luka went 4 for 12 from 3. And Josh Green from off the bench, he had 1 3. He went 1 for 1. And Hardy, he went 1 for 3 off the Dallas bench for 3 points. So yeah. Meanwhile, it looks like Boston, the
Celtics went 16 for 42, and they were 38%.
38%, 16 for 40. 42 3-point shots. Wow.
Yeah,
we said they live and die by the 3.
They do. They definitely do. And the cool part about it, they didn't make that many. You know, 38%, and the jack up 42 of them joints only make 16. That's not gonna cut it neither. You know what I mean? They just got lucky that they were getting points and scoring from everybody all around. You know, from the starting 5 all the way down to, you know, the bench production.
Right.
You know, but everything else was evenly matched up. You know, as far as the turnovers, Dallas had, I want to say 11, and Dallas had 11, and then the Celtics had 14. So they were evenly matched there. The rebounds, they were evenly matched. The only thing, like I said, that really killed, you know, the Dallas Mavericks was because they only shot 25%.
Right.
And they didn't get too much production from Kyrie. I mean, Kyrie only had 12 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists, you know. And I know we talked about this in the last podcast episodes that if they even remotely have a chance of possibly winning, they needed equal production from both him and Luka, and it had to be at least 20 and over in order for them to even be remotely close or to actually win the game.
Right.
And that just did not happen. It seemed like Luka did everything on his own yesterday. He went, 30 points, 10 rebounds, and 1 assist.
Yeah.
So you need more production, out of everybody. PJ Washington, Gafford, a couple other role players that they have on their team. They didn't really do too well this time around for whatever reason. I don't know if it was because of the long layoff, or if it was because, they started right back up, again. I don't know. It didn't look like Kyrie was ready for whatever reason. I don't know what was going on in his head. I don't know the shots. But it definitely looked ugly for them, for sure.
Nah, definitely. I agree. The Mavericks struggled, and even with all that said, like I said, they brought it within 9 points in the third quarter. Playing that badly. And I honestly feel like that's not going to happen again. I don't feel like the Mavericks are going to play that bad again. It doesn't. I don't think so. It doesn't get much worse than that. Like I said, we had Kyrie with 12 points. And 2 assists. Luka had 30. Mm-hmm. Luka did this thing with the points, but he 1 assist for Luka. That's crazy. 10 rebounds.
It is.
Luka still was productive beyond the assist. That lets me know that I felt like when I was watching the game that the Mavericks kind of seemed off kilter. They didn't really seem like they were locked in. I don't know if the moment was too big for some of the players like the PJs, the Jones Juniors.
Right.
Luka's never been there, but he showed up. I thought Kyrie would be the one to kind of be like, okay, like, yeah, like, he's going to come in with the experience. He's going to come in aggressive. Right. He's going to, he's going to get buckets, and you had to worry about everybody else. But PJ Washington was the second highest scorer for the Mavericks at 14 points, 8 rebounds.
14 points,
he had a good game. I mean, he went 5 for 11.
Yeah, he definitely had a solid game for sure. I agree.
You do want PJ Washington to hit a couple threes. He went 0 for 3. But, I mean, when you look at the points and the rebounds, also what I liked about PJ was I felt like he was aggressive. Trying to get to the rack defensively. He was aggressive. I liked his energy. I liked PJ's energy.
Yes. Yeah, I agree.
PJ got a little dog in him, so I definitely like that. Jones Jr. 5 points, 6 rebounds. I like the rebounds. He's not always going to be the scorer, but it's the NBA Finals. You might want a little more from him than just 5 points, 6 rebounds. Maybe about 10 points. Get a couple more buckets, 8 rebounds. I see when you're in the finals, you have to step it up. This is a different. This is not a regular season game. This isn't even the first round, playoff series.
Not at all.
This is the NBA Finals, so you have to step it up, your production up, your energy up, things like that. Now, again, like I said, I do feel like, I don't feel like, rather, that the Mavericks are going to play this badly. Game 2, I feel like they're going to come back on Sunday in Boston and tie it up 1-1. Because even with them, even with them playing this badly, they still brought it. You think
they're gonna tie this up for real in Boston?
They're not gonna play this badly again. So let's just say they played a little bit better. Let's just say instead of Kyrie's 12, he has 20. Let's just say instead of Luka's 1 assist, he has 6. You know what I'm saying? Like let's just say PJ Washington knocks down 2-3. Like they're not gonna play this badly. Boston came out rolling on all cylinders. Home game, home team. Game 1. They were ready. They were more prepared for the moment. I'm not going to say when it comes to basketball, just for the moment, as far as their tempo, their energy, things like that. I just feel like they just came out with a little more energy and a little more aggression.
They definitely played flat towards the middle end of the second quarter, and then third they came out the same way. And Boston pretty much, they were clicking on all cylinders. You had 16 points, from Tatum, 11 rebounds, 5 assists. Horford had 10 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists. Holiday had 12 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. Derek White had 15, 2 and 5. And Jaylen Brown, 22, 6 and 2. And then and Porzingis, for him to come back and score 26 and 3. Mm-hmm. So, when you look at all those numbers from all those players, it was a well-balanced offensive, game for them.
And that's what Dallas does. That's what Boston does. That's what Boston does.
Right.
Boston, they really didn't do anything that I didn't expect, except Kristaps Porzingis. So I gotta be honest with you. Going into our next topic, I feel like I think if you ask anybody, they're gonna say Kristaps was the X factor for Game 1. Definitely. But did we expect that from Kristaps Porzingis to be the X factor, come out aggressive in that first half, 20 points, kind of quieted down in the second half, but he had 20 points, 6 rebounds. He went 8 for 13 from the field, 2 for 4 from 3 in 21 minutes. And he didn't really play. I mean, everybody else in the starting lineup played over 30. He only played 21 minutes.
30, right.
Yep. So he played the most minutes off of the bench. But coming off that injury, did you expect Kristaps to come out aggressive like that and really kind of take over the first half?
Not at all. It was definitely a surprise. And I think I was actually texting you guys in the group chat saying, "Dang, man, this boy actually came out and started firing on all cylinders." You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He was the mid-range game was working, the post game was working, the 3-point game was working. And I think once he got rolling and he was in that zone, he was like, "Hey, look, man, I'm going to continue to keep going." And all the Celtics had to do was continuously keep feeding him. And that's exactly what they did. All right, well, cool. We see he's hot right now. Let's get him the ball and let's let him work. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, it paid off for him. But, yeah, I'm definitely surprised Porzingis put in that type of effort coming off that long layoff from that injury for sure.
No, definitely.
20.6 rebounds. That's, wow, 3 blocks. So it was like, okay, you really came in there and put your stamp on the game and saying, hey, look, you know what, I'm back. Now, will he continue to keep this same pace up in Game 2?
I don't think so.
Yeah, it's to be seen, but we shall see when it does happen. You don't think it will? You don't think it will?
I don't. Well, I'm not going to say he can't score 20 again. I do feel like he can score 20 again. But my thing is he going to come out and be like that game changer, like just come out hot, like on fire, to where it just you can't stop him, unstoppable? I don't know if it's going to be like that. I feel like the pace of the game is going to be completely different. Game 2. Like I said, I feel like I
agree. It's going to be different for sure. Yeah. I still feel like though that if the Celtics will pretty much come out like this again, I feel like. Now, they might not come out as hot. They might not have 5 or 6 people in double figures. Who knows? But I know that if they want to at least try to get closer to closing out, this series and winning their first championship underneath this regimen, then they're going to need this type of productivity for sure. Because I know you said it, in the last podcast, and I know you said it beforehand, they like to play with their food. Mm-hmm. If you play with your food, we all know what happens. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You're going to go ahead and get cooked. You can't do that. Can't play with your food. So if you see something, you smell blood in the water, you got to attack like a shark and take full advantage of it.
Well, if you think about
it. And I think that
if you think about it, they was playing with their food in that third quarter because they were what did they get up to? Like a 27 point? It was like 25 point lead, something like that.
27.
And then
27.
I know the Mavericks got it down to like 9. I know it was 9. Like I said, and I went outside. I was like, when I came back,
10, I think 9 or 10 for sure.
It was for sure 9. Cause I looked, I was like, damn, okay, they came back, and I was like, all right, Yeah. But I don't know what happened after that. I guess Boston.
What happened is they couldn't shoot a penny in the ocean. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Especially behind that 3-point line. If you can't make, then you're not playing defense on the other side of the ball. You know what I'm saying? Then what do you expect?
One thing I know,
you got to be able to make the adjustments. And once you make these adjustments, you got to stick with these adjustments.
One thing that I noticed from
once you start getting to a 9-point lead, it's all right. We need to keep up this pace that we've been doing. That got us back from a 27-point lead down to a 9-point.
I feel like with the Mavericks, a lot of their issues were self-inflicted. I saw like stupid turnovers. I saw just not really locked in, not concentrated. I'm just bad passing, miscommunication. I feel like it was a lot of that. I feel like that stuff you can correct going into the next game, and I feel like they will correct it going into the next game.
110%. And I'm sure with Jason Kidd being, a former player / champion of himself, is going to go ahead and bring that pedigree to them and his coaching staff, and they're going to talk about, hey, look, this is where we need to go ahead and make our adjustments at. This is where we need to go ahead and probably step up a little bit more, something that we didn't do in Game 1. So let's just make sure when we go to Game and try to even up this series in Boston to give us a chance to win at least 2 back at home, this is what it takes to go ahead and get there. This is what we need to go ahead and do. But like you said, the balance wasn't there. Kyrie, of course, only had a quiet 12 points, and he looked like all the way locked in.
Yeah.
When the game first initially started to as well. So hopefully this time around for game 2, he'll play with a little bit more energy, a little spunk, and be able to go ahead and help Luka out, at least with the scoring aspect. And I think everything else will probably start to fall into place once that takes place.
Yeah, so for me, like I said, I think the keys to game 2, if you're the Mavericks, limit the silly turnovers, lock in, talk, communicate. I just feel like, I don't know if it was the atmosphere. I don't know if it was too loud. Like I said, game 1, NBA Finals. Right. I don't know what it was. I just felt like they just weren't. They weren't rolling on all cylinders as far as how they normally play. But again, I just don't see back-to-back games like that for this team. They got to the NBA Finals for a reason, and I feel like they're going to come out with a better showing. And I honestly feel like just coming out with a slightly better showing is going to get them to win. Because to me, like I said, Boston really didn't do anything that they normally don't do. Their high score was 22 points with Jaylen Brown. Porzingis never at the second highest scorer with 20. Tatum had 16. Yeah. Now I do expect Tatum to do a little more in the scoring end, but he put
right, exactly, because he had a quiet 6 points, but he had
5 assists, he had 11 rebounds.
Right, on other aspects.
He shot 16 times, he made 6 of them. So
okay.
I mean, he went 3 for 7 for 3 for 7 from the 3-point line.
3-point range.
I mean, he had a decent game, but I guess when Porzingis is rolling and your boy Jaylen Brown is rolling, he felt like he didn't really need to, go crazy like that.
Step up in other aspects. Hey, look, you know what I'm gonna do? I ain't go down here and rebound the ball. I'm gonna go ahead and go down here and get some assists, blocks, and stuff like that. So, hey, look, if you got your other buddies rolling, you don't necessarily need to go ahead and be that actual, person to score all the points or majority of the points.
Yeah.
Well, hey, look, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and sit back. I'm going to let them do what they do. And I'm going to go ahead and go do, what I normally go ahead and do to make this work.
So for me, I feel like the key to the game for the Celtics is I feel like stay aggressive on defense. The Mavericks. The Mavericks are going to come out with a better showing than they did game 1. You know that if you're Boston, you don't expect them to only have 9 assists. You don't expect them to shoot 25% like that from the 3. Like you don't expect it. So just do what you can to kind of contain their runs and things like that, and play your game. You guys are at home. You guys are up 1. Don't panic like that. Even if you do go down 1-1, I got the series going 7 anyway. So I really don't feel like. I'm sure they want to get it over with, but they're not going to sweep this team. It's not going to go. I don't see that. I'll be shocked.
Listen, I said originally sweep. I still want to stick with that, but I know the NBA is about their money, about that moolah.
But I don't even think it's about that. I just feel like Dallas is too good of a team to get swept. I just don't see that. Like Boston is good.
Well, I mean, if it doesn't happen with the sweep, I'm saying 5 games for sure.
Nah. It's minimum 6. Minimum 6, bro. 6? Yeah, minimum. Man, I feel like you're really discrediting that. I don't know why. You know what I think it is? No, you know what I think it is? No, you know what I think it is? No, you know what it's starting to hit me because I'm starting to notice like you're saying little things about Dallas here and there. I think what it is for you really liked the T-Wolves. I feel like you wanted them and felt like they were going to win that series. And they didn't. So
I feel like that's what it is. Been the better match. I feel like it would have been the better matchup.
That's what it is.
No. It ain't that. Like I said, Dallas. Listen, hey, Dallas. They shocked all of us, man. We didn't think that they were going to go ahead and make it this far.
No,
I'm talking about this far.
No. Who called them going to the finals? Did I not? Me.
We gotta pull that clip back up. We gotta run that.
It's in the text thread. We didn't have a pie before that. I put it in the text thread. I said I have Dallas and Boston in the finals. I said that.
All right. Well, you got to go ahead and copy and paste that and put that up in here on these little podcasts.
Right hand to God. I said that, bro. I said that in multiple texts. Bro, I will go back and ask my partners who I text them. I'm like, hey, who did I have in the finals? I'm going to do it today since you think I'm wolfing. I had Dallas and Boston. I did. That's why I picked. And again, I said I had Dallas and Boston. And the reason I said that, and the reason I said that because I looked at it like this. I said, okay, you have Kyrie and Luka. Once you got Daniel Gafford and you got PJ Washington. I was like, that was the only thing them dudes was missing. Like they needed a stretch four, and they needed defense, interior rebounding. They didn't have no rebounding with Kleber and Powell. They didn't have nothing. So when they got those two guys, I'm like, oh. I'm like, now I like those. I said that in February. I'm like, yo, you could even ask, we got a little brother named Terrence. Ask Terrence. I was like, bro, I like Dallas. As soon as that trade happened, I was like, oh. So and then when the playoffs came and the Kings weren't in it, I was like, people were asking me like, who you got? I'm like, man, I really think Dallas come out the West.
Right.
And this is before the first round. So I called the finals. I should have put money on it somewhere, but
you should have. You'd have put money on it, bro. You'd have for sure been a rich man.
Because a lot. I can't believe
unless you were a diehard Dallas Mavericks fan, nobody really seen.
Nah, but if you know who, but no, like I said, if you know who, because why was it so easy for me to see that? I'm like, oh yeah, like, but no, I'm hearing a lot of people didn't see Dallas making it this far. I don't know why.
Well, you got to understand though, man, because you still had.
I didn't. You know what? Hold on, I know where you're going. You know why I didn't have Denver, and I told you this. I told you and Teddy White this. I was like, I don't like Denver this year because Bruce Brown, I don't know if y'all remember. I know a lot of people forgot the NBA Finals because it was a year ago last year. But if they did not have, if they had Bruce Brown, I would have been like, okay, yeah, maybe. But them getting rid of him, not being able to pay him, he was a huge reason why they won that championship last year. Huge reason.
Was, for sure. And I mean, and they had a couple other role players they had a couple other role players that were no longer on the roster, as well. So
that bench, I didn't like that bench.
I don't know, man. I still felt like it was going to be, either them or Minnesota. You know what I mean?
I knew Denver wasn't winning. I knew Denver wasn't winning, bro. I knew they weren't because I'm like, there's nothing on that bench, bro. Think about it, bro. Reggie Jackson, you're like, no, like Chris Brown, Christian Braun or Brown. No, PJ Watson. PJ Watson. No, like
they started getting hurt towards the when they were making their run into the playoffs, and when they were in the playoffs, they started to get hurt. So that kind of helped, messed them up. But I said nobody. I mean, I honestly didn't expect. Now somebody else, that might chime in and might comment on the pod or whatever. They might say, "Man, I've seen Dallas just like how you seen Dallas. I've seen Dallas be able to go ahead and make the trades and gel and come together at the right time to make this deep push into the playoffs and now to the finals." I did feel like they were a little under at the time before they made the trades, because I told you, I said, hey, man, you got Bear and you got Cat. Dallas don't have nothing for these cats, you know what I'm saying, as far as, big bodies go. They ain't getting past them. Now, we'll see, because Porzingis, you see what he did, to that front court. So will he have another big game like that with Horford? I mean, he didn't put up major numbers, but he contributed a lot, to help them out, down there in that front court too as well. So
yeah, well, like I said, we'll see. Again, I don't know why you're so sleep on Dallas, bro, but we're gonna see. Game two was coming on Sunday, and we're gonna see. Like I said, I have Dallas tying it up. I think it's gonna be 1-1 on the way back to Dallas.
I have Boston beating them by like 5 or 6. It's gonna be close this game around. I still feel like Boston's gonna go ahead and at least get 2 on their home court. Okay. I feel like.
Okay.
And then maybe Dallas might get 1 back in Dallas, and then they go back to Boston. I feel like.
No, we're definitely gonna see. I think it's gonna be I think it's gonna be a long, exciting series. 2 good teams. Boston. I'll tell you what, Boston better not take this team lightly. I'll tell you that right now, because Luka's not going nowhere, and I feel like Kyrie is not going to have just 12 points game 2. Like,
no, not at all. Luka, he'll probably have more than that going forward in the next few games for sure.
Luka's not just going to have 1 assist. Like, it's just not at all. It's just not going to happen. So it's going to be a completely different game. It's not going to look like game 1. But so now we're going to get to these Kings, man. So the other day we posted a video just talking about like what we felt about the Kings roster moves. More specifically, we were talking about Monte McNair, and we were talking about what the Kings need to add to the roster in order to compete. We're watching the NBA Finals right now. We just got through a whole playoff series, watching these teams in the West. And when you sit and think about the Kings, you're like, yo, like, how can we get to this point, right? How can we be next year's Dallas Mavericks? How can we be, next year's Minnesota Timberwolves? How can we get to that point to where we're able to compete with these teams and make a run in the playoffs? Now, I think everybody watching can agree, and I will hope I hope you guys agree, because if you don't, something's wrong with you. I think everybody can agree, including you, Doughboy, that the Kings have to make some type of roster moves in order to reach that next step. Would you agree?
Yeah, that's hands down. Has to happen.
Yeah,
for sure.
So we talked about it.
If they do it, they'll run this back for the third consecutive year with that same with the same player. Mm-hmm. Nah. So in your opinion, can you run it back and expect different results with this team? No, not at all. No. Even with the likes of Kevin Huerter coming back off his injury, Monk coming back off his injury. Who else was injured during that time frame that wasn't really towards the end of the season? Monk and Huerter were like the two main ones. I think the main ones. Right. Did Trey Lyles come back late off something? I don't know. But those are the main two. We had Keon Ellis step up, but so we're just gonna kind of talk about a little more to touch on a little more what we spoke on the last video. Now, in my opinion, I feel like the Kings need to add a wing scorer. Okay. Score first, and then kind of be like being able to play on the defensive end. I don't want somebody who just can't play defense at all. But I want somebody who could be that third scorer when Sabonis is maybe cold, or De'Aaron's out hurt, or Sabonis is in foul trouble, or maybe they're just having an off night. Now you have a wing to go to along with Keegan. And I feel like if you have that on your roster, I feel like now you're talking about competing and really making noise in the West, possibly for a 1 or 2 or 3 spot, again, being top 3 in the West. I want to go through some of these comments that you guys commented on our last video. So we have, is it Dezabat? I'm sorry if I'm saying your name incorrectly. He said they also need to sign another big if they're going after a star with that package, including the pick. So the package he's talking about is, we talked about Huerter, Barnes, draft pick. So he's saying that we need to go after a big, front court. What's your thoughts on that, Doughboy? Well, I've always said that. I always felt like Kings need to go ahead and get bigger in the front court. And they definitely do need to go ahead and probably add, center. Either move Sabonis down to the 4, or to just back him up if Sabonis doesn't want to play the 4. Mm-hmm. But the Kings definitely have to figure something out once Sabonis leaves the floor, whether it's to go ahead and take a breather or whether he's in foul trouble. They need somebody to be able to come in, pick up the slack, and get you maybe 8 points, 8 rebounds, 2 blocks. Mm. You know what I mean? Or 15 points, 5 rebounds, 3 blocks, or something along those lines.
And I know that's one of the things that we talked about a lot heavy last year, and that was kind of like I was kind of just going off the players that we had more so than thinking about a player to acquire. But when we acquired JaVale McGee, I was like, well, shoot, let's start him, because a lot of people are like, nah. But I just don't, and I've been saying it for months on this channel, I just don't like Sabonis being our five guy, our center guy. You know what I mean? Right. Because I just feel like he's undersized when you see him against like the Goberts, the Embiids, the Jokic's. I just feel like he's undersized. Definitely. Even with AD, even though he got AD's number, I ain't gonna lie, but even with guys like that, AD number all last year. Yeah, I just feel like he's a little undersized, and I feel like he'd be better suited if he didn't always have to play against the other fives. If he was able to kind of like sometimes play off ball a little bit or guard a 4, and then we could have another 5, a 5-man, guard those bigger centers. I don't know if Cleveland's really talking about doing it, but I know like Jared Allen was a guy that people were talking about maybe on the trade block. He would be really good here. I feel like because he can shoot the 3, and he's a true center. Like he's going to go. He's not a power forward. He's a center. He blocks shots. I think he's 7 feet tall. Or maybe the afro makes him look taller. I don't know, but he's out there really defending. And I feel like he, if you give him the assignment of playing and guarding the 5s on other teams, Sabonis can kind of do his work at the 4 spot. Now, my only concern with that is and again, Jared Allen could be the one to stretch the floor on offense because Sabonis. I feel like Sabonis used to hit that 3 ball, but now I just feel like he's not taking it as much and not hitting it as much as he used to.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we have a comment saying that the Kings need to go after a big, but my personal thing is I feel like they need to wing. So we got Music World VNT. He says, I've been saying this to my Sac fam since this year. PG, meaning Paul George, or Bucket Getter and Chris Middleton, or my X Factor Markkenan. So that's who he's kind of looking at. I kind of feel the same way. We need somebody in that Harrison Barnes spot or role that's going to that we can go to down the stretch of games. Because let's be real, like a lot of times people got to think about it. Wings are very they're a hot commodity in the NBA.
Yes,
they're getting paid a lot because it's hard to find good wings. You know what I mean? I know I talked about it last year too. I talked about Kyle Kuzma a lot. And people, some of the comments were like, I don't know about Kyle. Like, if you know basketball, you know Kyle Kuzma will fit great on his team. He can rebound, shoot the 3, run the floor, and create his own shot. Right. So what's your thoughts on a guy like Kyle Kuzma?
I don't know if Kuzma would fit into this type of situation, man. Honestly, I already do feel like he has a laid back.
He would.
They already got too many laid back players on this roster so far. They need a dog. They need somebody that's really a 3-and-D type dude that can really get out here. If my shot's not going, I'm gonna go ahead and affect it on the defensive side of the ball. And I just don't think Kuzma has that to fit in with what they already have. Kuzma kind of Keegan Murray, I feel like, just a little bit more athletic.
Well, that's what you need. That's what I'm saying. You need somebody. But here's my thing, and I think people. I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I'm not trying to say niggas don't know basketball. But for me, I don't look at things from a lens of looking at the player I don't like versus players I do like, or I don't think too highly of him, or like I don't look at it like that. I'm looking at skill set. So with Kyle, I know Kyle Kuzma's skill set. I watched what he did with LeBron and AD, being able to be 6'9", 6'8", run the floor, rebound, play defense, shoot the 3, like create your own shot. Right. If you have a guy like that with the Kings, imagine having that guy, what I just described, along with Keegan Murray, along with De'Aaron Fox, along with Sabonis. Who are you doubling? Who are you gonna double off a Kuzma to guard De'Aaron coming off coming down the lane? When you could just kick it to Kuzma or kick it to Keegan for the open 3.
Somebody will be open behind the 3-point shot to go. I'll be trying 3-point line to be able to
transit him and De'Aaron Fox in transition. Like, come on, so a guy like that.
The thing though, if you do get a guy like that, are you still gonna be able to keep the likes of Malik Monk?
Yes.
That way, when that second team does come in,
and that's another thing.
You got that facilitator, and the person that can be, the guy to go.
Yes, you can. Because here's what you got to remember: Kyle Kuzma's only making maybe 20 something a year with his contract. He's not like a Paul George who's making 40. Paul George is making like 43 last year, something crazy. Kuzma's in the 24-ish, 23-ish range. You could easily slide it. Harrison Barnes is making 18. You know what I mean? So I mean, you free up some money on that bench. Trade Harrison. You damn near can maybe even keep Herter if you get creative. You know what I'm saying? If you really wanted to. So I mean, they'd be able to get a Kuzma. So he'd be like a cheaper option.
What about Markkenan though? Yeah, he said.
You know what? No, I do not know his contract. But he would be more like.
I did see an article earlier. After I seen the comment, I went to go look, and there was an article that they did press up. I forgot who it was, but they asked if Sacramento should go ahead and go after Markkenan and see if they can go ahead and get a trade package going with him, possibly to get him to come to Sacramento.
Well, Markkenan, I feel like with him, he's not really that wing guy. He would be like in the big category. So he would be like that power forward. Sabonis would probably still be the 5. Markkenan would be like the 4. I'm not mad at that, but I don't know if he's aggressive enough. See, my 4s, you either got to be able to stretch the floor, which he can. I feel like he can shoot the 3, or you got to be a hell of a rebounder. You got to, you know what I'm saying? I don't, he could post up, but he's not really taking nobody off the dribble, creating his own shot, nothing like that. Good player. I think he could fit. There's a lot of guys who could fit on this team. You would just have to kind of, mess around and kind of tweak some of the way you, place them in the offense. Because I feel like you could put all the guys we're talking about. You could put a Kuzma, you could put a Markkenan, you could put a Jared, put a Jared Allen. Also, like I said, he's going back to the comment I just mentioned. He said to Chris Middleton. I don't know if he's on the trade block.
Chris Middleton's just like he just read up on that contract in Milwaukee now. Milwaukee's ready to go ahead and let him go. You know what I mean? At this point, it'd be kind of intriguing to see, and be like, oh, okay, well, they're dangling him there, but what would they want back in return for Middleton, though?
No,
it's the question.
Well, again, right now, the assets that we have are, the Harrison, Herder,
Herder,
and the draft pick. But I don't think you would have to give all that up for like a Middleton. But I don't think Middleton's going anywhere. Now, I do want to talk about this real quick. I do want to talk about Paul George. I want to kind of get back to that because I mentioned him very quickly yesterday on yesterday's video. But if you're talking about a Paul George, right? You know what you're getting out of Paul George, right? And I'm not even saying that he wants to come here. I'm not saying the Kings are looking at him, but I'm just saying like that type of guy, right? If you add him to this roster, I think that immediately makes you a championship contender.
For sure.
Immediately, because especially if everybody's able to stay healthy, you still have Keegan, and you still got the likes of Keon Ellis. Now the thing about that is, yes, you're going to be a little thin when it comes to your bench. But again, I talked about this yesterday, and I need people to realize this, y'all, because there's some people, and I'm going to get to one of these comments. There's some people who I feel like are of the mindset that like you have to be 12 deep, like you have to have money for 12. Bro, look, I promise anybody who's thinking that right now, look at the Boston Celtics. Look at the Dallas Mavericks. Those teams are not crazy deep. They're 5 deep. No. They had their start, especially the Celtics. The Celtics are like, they had that starting 5 with Holiday, Brown, White, Tatum, and Porzingis. That's their 5. And then you have Horford off your bench. And after that, what? Pritchard, Hauser. You know what I'm saying? So they're only like really 6 or 7 deep. Mavericks, same thing. Hold on. Let me finish. Go ahead. Mavericks, you look at their bench. Who? Josh Green, like Tim Hardaway. Yeah. I think Lively's off the bench. Now, to me, they'd be maybe you could say they're a little deeper. I don't know if better than the Boston Celtics, but they're a little deeper. But again, the point I'm making is you really only need a solid 8. Now, I feel like going into next season, if you're able to get a PG and you have to get rid of Harrison Barnes and Kevin Huerter, okay, so you're pretty much trading 2 for 1. Right, you're trading 2 players for 1, so you're gaining 1. But then if you're able to keep Trey Lyles, right, you still got Keon Ellis Keon Ellis ain't even making $1 million a year. He's making like $800K a year, so he's not costing you anything. Like, so you still got him, right. Again, and that's why I said keep a Davion. I would keep Sasha. I haven't heard of anything him going anywhere, so I think he's not getting paid nothing crazy.
I haven't heard anything about him going anywhere either as well. So.
Get him comfortable again, second year of the NBA, you know what I'm saying? Get him comfortable, get him some shots. Just make him a spot-up shooter. Put him in the corner, you know? Guys like that, you still have a bench that you can compete with if you do the 2 for 1 with Paul George, get rid of Herter, Barnes. So let's talk about Paul George specifically. What are your thoughts on him, if adding him to the team, and how the roster would look? And do you feel?
I mean, we definitely said that adding him will make them definitely a top 4 or 5 contender in the Western Conference. You know what I'm saying? But like you said, if you do bring him in, what's going to go ahead and happen with the rest of this roster because of how much he makes, with the salary. But
pause right there. But hold that thought. I want to say this because I want you to keep this in mind, what I'm about to say. Paul George is a free agent now, right? His previous contract, he was making 40-something mil. Now, with age, right, and just kind of a decline in his numbers, things like that, would you have to pay him that much coming into your team if you're the next team for Paul George? You might can get him for around 35 a year, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Because can he really? Depends on what he is. But can he really demand that? Will somebody? I mean,
it's what his mindset. It depends on what his mindset is and what he wants to go.
Okay, that's fair. What I mean? That's fair. Fair.
We have to put pretty much the ball be in his court in that decision right there on, hey, look, you know what? I already made my money. Do I want to continue to keep making money?
Right.
Or do I want to go ahead and just take a back seat like, hey, you know what? Let me just go ahead and take a pay cut to go ahead and get with another contender to possibly win a championship. Yeah. It's all on him and what he decides that he wants to go ahead and do. Now, you already know, with some of these players, not all, but a lot of them like, hey, look, you know what? I'm in the league. I need to go ahead and pay now because tomorrow ain't promised. So I might as well go ahead and do it. For me, yeah, I mean, if he's willing to take a 35 a year, something like that, come on over. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You see the quality of the team. You see that there's good assets there that can go ahead and help, propel this team to the next level and to make a deeper playoff run. I mean, 2 years ago, they how far did they go? They ended up losing to the Warriors, I want to say.
I mean, well, I forgot who they lost to 2 years ago, but I do know that Kawhi Leonard stays hurt, so he might be on the way. Like, you know what? I need to do something different if I'm trying to win a championship. I don't know. Right. They have the new arena up. He's from that area down there. I think from Palmdale or something like that. He might be okay with just content with staying there and finish his career down there. Who knows? But while we're on this point, I want to read another comment from one of our other viewers. I appreciate you guys making the comments too. Drop your comments and we'll do this more often. Sure, we can respond to your questions and things like that. But we got Ivan Drago. Milo, he says Kings need to make moves that make sense, both on their timeline, financially, and draft future. They should not make stupid moves like the Clippers, Lakers, Suns, and many other teams have made, which mortgaged their future aging stars in the twilight of their careers. And I don't know, maybe he made the comment on the video that we were talking about, like a PG or like an Ingram. But I don't feel like, here's my thing. And I said this on the last video. De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis are in their primes.
Definitely.
Kings fans, you guys had to realize, and I know this, and I'm not going to make assumptions about the whole entire Kings fan base, but I know a lot of you guys, only kind of know your team and kind of know like the bubble of Kings player. But like when you look across the league, right? You can't just be like, oh, I love my team, I love my roster, we're going to run it. You can't run it back. Like if you want to get better, right, you have to take advantage of the primes and the health of De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis while you have them, and while you still have Keegan Murray for kind of cheap before his talents demand more money, while you still have a Keon Ellis before his talents demand more money. You know what I mean? Because guys are going to continue to get better, and then other teams are going to be like, hey, I like that guy, bring him over here. I'll pay him 10 more than the Kings are going to pay. You know what I mean? So, and that's going to happen. You have a short window. I don't think people realize how short these windows are. You guys are getting spoiled by having these winning teams and being in the 40s and messing with, dancing around 50 wins. That doesn't last forever. You know what I mean? So you have to take advantage. And you have to add a third guy to this. Now, it doesn't have to be Paul George. Let's just take him out of it. If y'all feel like he's too much, but you can go get a Brandon Ingram for cheaper. You can go get a Kuzma for cheaper. You can go look at it. I would even look at maybe Zach LaVine. You can go look at you can look at DeMar DeRozan. Even though he's older, doesn't really shoot the three, but he could bring other things. He could bring defense, mid range, veteranship to your team. Yes. You can look at guys like that. We need a consistent wing. We need somebody consistent in that Harrison Barnes spot. That's my biggest thing. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, no, I mean, you hit it right on. I mean, HB's been, inconsistent, throughout the last 2 years playing at that spot. I don't know if, the guy that made the comment, I don't know if he's, if we get a PG-13 here, then do we have to go? Do we have to let go of a Sabonis, or do we have to let go of a Keegan Murray? I don't think that it would happen like that. No, I don't think that Monty McNair and the Kings management would say, hey, look here, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and give Keegan, or I'm going to go ahead and let Fox or Sabonis go ahead and go. No, these are the centerpieces that the Kings are going to go ahead and work with now on until it's time to go ahead and run with this until the wheels fall off, pretty much is what I'm underneath the assumption of. So, no, I don't think that they're going to go ahead and give up the whole roster to go ahead and get PG-13 and have to be back into a rebuilding phase as far as like some of these other teams. No, I don't think so. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I feel like he fits very well with what Sacramento has. I feel like he would stick in real quick and mesh well with the rest of the players, and that train and that ball continue to keep rolling. You know what I'm saying? like he's been playing there for like the last couple of years or so.
Yeah, and for me, when I'm making these hypothetical suggestions, I'm not saying gut the roster. I would never say gut the roster, but I would give up 2 for 1 though. I would give up a Herder and Barnes to get a guy. I would do that, and I feel like it's worth it.
At that point, you would be a casual if you feel like you don't want to give up HB and Herder in a draft pick for somebody like that.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
And like you said, you might be able to get a Harrison Barnes at 13th pick for a DeRozan or something like that, or for Kyle Kuzma, you know, or BI for that matter. You know what I mean?
And
it just depends on how
be able to keep Herder.
Right, you still keep Herder, but it boils down to, can Monty McNair be creative when it comes to making these moves? Because you have to be creative in order to go ahead and do that. And so, no, I don't necessarily think that the Kings will make the move of gutting their roster just to take on a superstar player who's at the tail end of their career.
No,
I don't see that happening.
And I don't think you should, or you'd want to do that. You know,
we want to, right? No, definitely not at all.
You want to keep. You want to keep the core together.
Definitely.
And again, I know we haven't talked about too much. I don't know. I feel like somebody's going to throw a bag of Malik Monk. I don't know if we're going to be able to keep him and get a guy in that Harrison role. You know what I mean? I think if you kept if you kept Monk, I think you would have to give up a 2 for 1 for that one guy. You would have to, for sure. But I feel like that's worth it. I feel like that's worth it if you're able to get a 2 for 1 with Herder and Barnes. Get a guy like a Wing or a Kuzma, Paul George, that type player. I'm not saying those guys specific, but that type of player. Re-sign Monk. I think now you're looking at a really good roster. I mean,
right, definitely, for sure.
You know,
and then get you a good quality center at that. You know, and then from there you can go ahead and
kind of plug in
throughout the year. You know what I'm saying, throughout the season of what, you know, which ones work better with who on the floor at what different times of the game.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
No, I mean, those are great. You know what I'm saying? Options that are out there for sure. It's just a matter of how do you take advantage of it, and when are you going to go ahead and take advantage of it? Do you wait until after the draft? Do you do it or what? Yeah. You know, but I definitely do feel like, you know, answering these questions from the comments. Yeah, I mean, you have to make some moves for this roster and this team to get better to keep up with the rest of the teams in this West, in the Western Conference that are getting better.
So we're going to go with one more comment, then we're going to wrap this up. We have a EPVQ2 WO. Woo. Oh no, sorry about that. Some of these names, man. But he said he says we need a dog on this team. We need an enforcer. I think we should have gone after Dylan Brooks. Now he's with the Houston Rockets right now, but he's saying a guy like that on this roster. Do you think that will help? Somebody who's not necessarily a scorer, but just somebody who's kind of like a dog, rough rider, who's gonna play defense. You know,
I mean, yeah, if you can get a player in the mold, a Dylan Brooks that can be that enforcer, kind of like a Draymond Green.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, this is what the Kings are definitely missing. They're missing an enforcer. They're missing a alpha male on this squad who does not take no for an answer and won't back down from nothing.
Yeah.
They don't have it. So if they can go ahead and get somebody in that mold and really take this team over the top, because I said, man, when you think about it, man, no disrespect to Fox, no disrespect to Sabonis, and no disrespect to Malik Monk, and to the rest of the team. I feel like they have too much of a lackadaisical personalities when it comes to being an alpha dog.
I ain't gonna lie though, De'Aaron be out there. He be.
But you know, some cats you be knowing like, hey, bro, person's skin is gonna be bad. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like if you have,
I think Sabonis a dog too, though. Sabonis a dog.
If you have a Draymond Green type cat that was on the Kings, do you understand how much more it would add to the fierceness of them?
You know what's crazy? I'm not gonna lie to you. When he was a free agent, I was kind of like, hey, should the Kings go talk to him?
It wouldn't have been a bad look.
Just to kind of test the water to see like what could that have looked like. I feel like again he could have been that like EP said, that enforcer, that dog. You know what I mean.
Sure.
And then honestly too, with that, De'Aaron probably would have been able to play off the ball a lot because Draymond's like a point forward. Yeah. He's so smart with his IQ. You know, his playmaking abilities. That would have been interesting to see. But you know, a guy like that, I don't know. But it's gonna be.
I mean, sure. Let's just be honest. I mean, what's the last album that we had on the squad? What, DeMarcus Cousins, maybe? The only person I can really think of that was an alpha.
I mean, when you say that, I feel like that term is so like vague. Because are you just talking about somebody with an attitude? Or are you talking about somebody Because again, I feel like Sabonis and Fox have that. I feel like they do. They do, but they do. But see, so you're talking about personality. You want a personality. Because I feel like those two, they are dogs, but you just want a different type of personality. That's what you want.
Personality, yeah. The one that's not going to back down.
They don't back down. Fox and Sabonis do not back down.
I'm talking about, hey, listen, when Ron got in his little mode, people knew not to mess with Ron. Let's be real. Or like a Draymond Green. When Draymond
so you're talking about
like
so an enforcer. So you feel like you want
you need an enforcer. The Kings need an enforcer, bro. And like I said, they don't need somebody to come in there and score 16 to 30 points a game. Come in here, rebound, play defense, bro. Get some blocks, agitate the hell out of the opponent's number one scorer. You know what I mean? And do the dirty work.
I kind of see what you're saying, but then I just feel like that kind of goes back to what I was saying. I just feel like we need somebody else in that front court in general to kind of be that rebounder, almost like a dirty work guy. Like maybe
Yes.
But they have
exactly.
Those
are the exact words. Dirty work guy.
But they got to be productive. Got to be productive.
Yeah, the Kings don't have somebody that's really willing to go ahead and get out there and get themselves dirty right now at this point. I don't see.
No, definitely. So I have an idea for a video. I'm gonna talk to you about after we're done with this. But this is good. This is good talks, man. We appreciate you guys' comments. I want to keep doing stuff like this, like reading your comments, responding to you guys, because I feel like not only is it engaging, but it gives us like ideas and gives us things to talk about when it comes to just like how we're talking about the Kings. We all want to see this team win, and I think different people have different ways in their minds of how it should look and different ways of thinking about it. But I think we all agree that this team cannot remain this team cannot remain the same going into next season if we want to grow, get better, and compete in the West, as every other team in the West is going to get better. It's just going to happen. But no, this is definitely a good pod. I honestly didn't plan on going this long, but we did. But definitely appreciate it, man. So again, we are trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. We're just under like 320 right now. We feel like we can do it. We feel like we can do it with the help of you guys. We'd really, really appreciate it. We're gonna go crazy this summer. We have the rest. Of the NBA Finals, and after that, we have the draft to talk about. After that, we have the Olympics to talk about. On top of that, we have free agency coming up too. So we got free agency, Olympics, and it's gonna be a short summer for the NBA because we're gonna be after the Olympics and things like that. It's gonna be a short summer. Then we're gonna be right back into
NBA season.
Preseason, right back into the season. So we're gonna keep this rolling. So we're definitely gonna be hitting y'all with the content consistently, you know what I mean? So definitely we would appreciate it if we can
like, subscribe, and comment, please, man. You know what I'm saying?
If we can earn your sub, we definitely appreciate it. But other than that, man, we just want to talk about a couple things, talk about this game 1 of the NBA Finals. We will be back talking about game 2 probably on Monday. We'll get that done on Monday because the game is on Sunday, so we'll get that done on Monday. And then, I have another idea for a video. We're gonna talk about that after we get off of here, man. So we're gonna get with y'all, man. Like, comment, subscribe, all that. No rim. We up out of here, man. Peace.